Oh, hi folks. Last week I tried to say I was going to stop my YouTube video channels or channel. For the last week and a half I've been really miserable about this. Anyway, my wife, looking at my misery, said, "What's the matter with you?" And I said, I don't really want to withdraw my opportunity to have the chance to say how sad I am that we seem to be losing our country. And isn't that the case? I'm not going to, in future videos, be derogatory about anything or any particular race or stuff like that, because that's the sort of nonsense that gets you into trouble. All I want to talk to you about in this particular video is the way I feel, and maybe maybe you can have empathy towards that. Maybe you feel the same way. I don't think I'm the only one, in the sense that I think everybody who is truly British and here legally and gone about it in the right way, or we've been born here, feel that we are literally being invaded in this country. And it's a sad state of affairs that our government, Keir Starmer and co, are complicit in the destruction of the United Kingdom, quite deliberately. And he is following a truly evil agenda from powers higher up: Trilateral Commission, Council of Foreign Relations, the elites, the Illuminati, you name it, Freemasonry, whatever. The dark forces behind Keir Starmer. Communism, without a doubt. Fascism, dictatorship. It's all there, isn't it, in black and blue. Or black and white. Well, he'd be black and blue if I could get my hands on him, but that's not a veiled threat. The guy should be out on his ear. And we need somebody like Nigel Farage. Less of a bad bunch, I think, but he has his heart in the right place. At least he's been out and seen firsthand what it is like watching these invaders come on boats. Yes, the ones with no children and all young middle-aged fighting men. They're here for a reason, folks, and I needn't tell you what that is. The agenda. And I can't understand why our government is so complicit, why our police are so complicit in backing it up. It seems that it's only the protesters and the truly British people who are being arrested and picked out en masse by the police during any sort of protest against this. You would think that the police really, well, a little bit hypocritical, aren't they? You know, they're protecting those who are carrying knives, and they are if they're protecting the bad boys who are doing bad stuff towards people who aren't armed and there to peacefully protest, well, it's the police as well, and they are agents provocateurs, I think, sometimes. They're okay, they're wearing full riot gear, but what about the people that are there on peaceful protests? They get smacked on the head by a truncheon, it's not very nice. Get pepper sprayed, that's not very nice, but they're supposed to be people there for peaceful protest. But without that, I just think that we've been sold down the river. Our politicians now, in the Houses of Parliament, bar a few, particularly the Labour lot, have an agenda. And Keir Starmer knows well about this, and he is following the agenda to totally bastardise this, the country of the United Kingdom. And Ireland. Look at Ireland. This isn't just an English, I think this is a truly British problem. And we've got to wake up and smell the coffee and realise that, we can't stand idly by and watch this happen. There will be a tipping point, and it's rapidly coming, because it simply cannot get much worse. Considerable street wars, most of our major cities now, the Caucasian white people, the truly British people holding British passports here, are quickly becoming the minority. I needn't tell you that. But how does it make you feel? You feel that your children are okay and safe walking around, your young girls walking around the streets. They can't, can they? Not without the parents worrying like crazy about getting the kids in before it gets dark. The fact is now, if my children, well, both grown up now, but if I had young children, they're out there, teenagers, and they're having to mix, I couldn't sleep knowing that they're out there. They can't actually go and be normal teenagers, can they? Because you don't know who's going to be ganging up on them, who's going to kidnap them, who's going to do them harm. We live in a state of fear, and that's what it is. And it's fundamentally taking over the psyche of the British population. That's all we can think about now. To be brutally honest, most people now are scared to walk along major cities in the broad daylight, worrying about getting stabbed, or getting sliced with a knife, or getting beat up, or young girls worrying about being raped by gangs. And Enoch Powell absolutely was right. He said one day the United Kingdom, the white British people, will be a minority. And it ain't that far off. And I think if I could cast my mind back and you can cast yours forward, maybe we can see what's coming, but we can't do a lot about it, can we? What can we do to stop these boats coming over? What can we do to start repatriating these people to where they come from? There is no appetite for doing that. There is no mechanism in place in order to do that. I mean, even Rishi Sunak realised that he couldn't fly them all out. We just haven't got enough aeroplanes to get them all out. And where are you going to dump them? You can't just grab people, shove them on an aeroplane and fly them off and push them out the cargo cart out the back, can you? No, you can only take, tops 300 at a time. Imagine. It'd be a nightmare, especially when the pressed exportees, i.e. the people you're going to shove onto these planes back to where they come from, at huge expense. And it's really a pipe dream. It's just not going to work. And you're not talking about a few hundred people on a few hundred aeroplanes, folks, are you? We're talking close on to 500,000. No problem at all. What are you going to do with these people? Well, you're going to give them housing, you're going to give them benefits, you're going to give them NHS free dentistry and NHS treatment, which is all free. And who's paying? It's the taxpayers of the United Kingdom, that's who's paying. Okay, it's us, the taxpayers. And it makes me physically sick to think that we're having to fork out money for these people that have come over here for free healthcare. If they get married, they can get married to 2 or 3 ladies at a time and keep producing. Because it's ultimately, and I've said it before, it's a numbers game. This is why it's such a dangerous thing to do, is import people who are quite easily persuaded to go and have 3 or 4 wives, and with those wives have children. Multiple children, and they can have 3 or 4 wives 3 or 4 children per wife if they procreate like that. It's coming down the pipeline. It's happened before, and you only have to see the number of hijabs walking around town, full facials or halves, and they're all pushing buggies, they're all half covered up, And I also have to feel sorry for these ladies that have to put up with the men that they're married to, because they do realise, don't they, that they're simply breeding stock. But that's by the by. They are just a manifestation of the problem. But the major problem is it's the violence that comes with such people that are coming over here to cause harm and degradation to our country. And the politicians seem impotent. I don't understand the agenda of Keir Starmer and his cronies, but I do understand the New World Order and the Trilateral Coalition and the Council for Foreign Relations. And there's something far bigger, far, far bigger than politicians is controlling this. And they want to bastardise the UK. Well, they're pretty close. And you cannot keep blaming the politicians because, believe me, Keir Starmer does as he is told. He is not a one-man band. Somebody is playing that harp, Keir Starmer. Somebody is pulling his strings. And I want to highlight that it isn't Keir Starmer that's making the decision to destroy the United Kingdom. It's way above him. It's way above Nigel Farage. It is not in the control or the decision process. It's not their decision to make in the Houses of Parliament. It's not even in the House of Lords. It's above. There are perhaps 12 families that run this world, and they dictate that we should be homogenized. There shouldn't be countries and there shouldn't be borders. We should be one big melting pot of happiness. But unfortunately, you see, religion poisons everything. It truly does. Would we be warring if there was no religion? Can you imagine, like John Lennon's song, Imagine a World with No Religion? Well, we can only dream of that one. I'm agnostic personally. I believe it'll be what it'll be. And I don't think there's a creator looking down. I think we're way beyond what we understand ourselves to be. We just don't know the truth because we're lied to from fetus to coffin. We are lied to in this country. And politicians are the most adept at lying. They can tell you to go to hell in such a way you look forward to the trip. And we fall into this nonsense every time we vote. Well, it doesn't matter who you vote for. The shysters still get in. And people don't realise this. But, if you don't vote, the wrong ones will get in. But the real agenda is, above all the politicians, is that the outcome is still the same no matter what party is in power. It really is. It's just, are you blue? Are you red? Are you yellow? What's the matter with colours? We're talking people. It doesn't matter which person or group or political party is in power, in charge. Those boats with the invaders on will continue to come. And until they can show and flex their muscles and stop this, we have a Royal Navy second to none. And yet, where are the boats that are stopping the boats? We have massive amounts, but haven't they destroyed the Royal Navy? Really? Where are our boats that should be on the shores? Do you remember? In the Second World War, as I mentioned in previous videos, we had loads of boats. But why aren't we flooding our coastal waters now? What are the RNLI supposed to be doing? Just working for the invaders on their boats to make sure that they're safe and tucked up in bed at night and they've got their safety vests on coming over from France? Isn't that ridiculous? Well, I rest my case, and that's why I don't think there's any hope for Great Britain. I don't think there's any hope for this country. And it's the same in the rest of Europe. Some are being invaded quickly, some of it being invaded slowly. But drip by drip by drip, we are being filled up with people who don't have best intentions for our country and our children and our well-being and our future. And it seems that the politicians are okay with this, because if they were really, really majorly concerned, we'd put a stop to it this week. But there's no appetite. And this means that the laws that we have are an arse. They're an arse. Most of the laws in the United Kingdom, they're an ass. They make no sense in a logical system, but it's written, so it is written, so it'll be the law, and we have to comply. Well, rules are for the obedience of idiots, but the guidance of wise men / women. Since when has it been impossible to change the rules to suit the game? Well, politicians have the power to change the rules to suit the game, and the game is invasion at the moment, and it's happening. Why can't they change the rules on engagement and on defence of invasion? About our armed forces, a stretch. There's not many people in the armed forces now. I mean, we need to, well, we've got plenty of young people claiming benefits that would be well conscripted into the armed forces. But we don't, do we? I vote that we bring back national service in this country of all nationalities and make them do minimum of 3 years national service. But again, you can't do that to these little waifs, the ones walking around town, stabbing people indiscriminately, raping young girls, doing what they do. What are you going to do? Recruit all these non-English invaders into the armed forces? Be serious. It would be like knitting fog. You couldn't get them together, and they would claim immunity from doing any national service. But they're here. They're claiming benefits. They're getting treated in the NHS. Poor little waifs. They're perfectly fine where they were. But you notice the boat people are coming over, the invaders. Where's their children and their wives? This isn't anything else but a takeover. Well, I've said my piece, folks. I'm going to love you and leave you. But I've got to say my piece. It's in my nature. And I've got to vent. And thanks for watching. So here we go again.